Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, and today I'm going to show you several different ways that you can bind a book. I got a new toy in the mail this week, something I've wanted for a while. I bought a binding machine, and this is a Combind 75 from General Binding Company, and I ordered it off of mybinding.com. It was $19.95, and shipping was like $15. So for 35 bucks, I got a binding machine, and I was pretty happy about that. It said the list price was like $119, so I have no idea why it was such an awesome deal, but there you go, and I bought it. And I'm going to show you some different ways we can bind today. First, I'm going to show you, this is what I made with the comb binding machine. I made this cute little calendar that you can stick photos in as you go. It's one of my favorite Christmas gifts to make for grandparents or, parents with young children that want a scrapbook, but they don't have enough time. They can easily just paste in a photo here and there. I'm going to show you how to make this project today, but I'm going to show you other types of binding too. This is a little comb binding I did this with a crocodile, so you don't have to have a binding machine to bind a book together. This cute little album is from Creative Cuts and More. And also, we can do ring binding, which is just office supply rings with some ribbons tied on. It's so very easy. Another album from Creative Cuts and More. It's one of their clear albums, which was so much fun to scrapbook a couple of years ago because you have all these clear pages that I stamped on with acrylic paint. You can kind of see what's on the next page as you're going. So that's just your basic 3-ring binding. And also, there are other scrapbook style and crafter binding systems, and one of those would be the Zutter Bind It All, and that has a very unique look to it because it's got these little wires that go on the edge, and I will show you a close-up of this in a second. So depending on what your needs are as a crafter, as a scrapbooker, you might want any one of these methods to bind your project. So let's take a close-up look at some of these bindings and how to do them. Here we go. Okay, this is what the binding machine looks like when it is all out and you're ready to use it. Just for the purpose of this video, I'm going to use some pink paper and show you how to punch some binding holes. Now there's a little notch here, and you can tell it what size paper you want to use. There's USA oversized, there's your regular letter, which is the size we're using, and there's also A4, which is about 11 3/4 inches wide. Now I think if you probably unscrewed this little dial from the bottom, you could fit a 12-inch by 12-inch piece of paper in here, but for my purposes, I'm going to use the letter size. Now you can punch it like this, or you can punch it like this using the letter size and 8.5 by 11-inch paper. I find they both work, but this binding machine is a lower end model, so it does not have the disengageable pins, so every hole is going to punch. Some of the craft models, like the cinch, has disengageable wires. That might be some disengageable pins rather, so it doesn't punch certain holes, and that might be something that you would be interested in if you wanted to do smaller books with fewer holes. So this is what we end up with our holes. Now I'm going to show you how easy it is to add a comb binding. I've got some binding combs right here, and they're white. I have mostly black or white, but they come in all the different colors of the rainbow. So here you can see a black one and a white one side by side, but you can of course order whatever color you want. Now this is so easy. I'm actually going to bind one of the calendars, and I'm going to show you how to make it in a little bit. So what you want to do is set this binder on the machine so it kind of lays across the pegs. Then you're going to pull it down so that there's these little fingers that come off here. It's going to catch the open part, and you just pull it down, and then you just press the catch back so it keeps it open. So all of these are open, and you are ready to put in whatever it is you want bound. And this is a calendar that I have, kind of a portrait-oriented calendar, because I wanted this to be a present for my mother, my parents, and also my in-laws, and they're older, so I wanted them to have bigger calendar boxes so that they have a little more space to write or to read. So then you just, oh, you know what, it's easier to go over the bar. There, I'm going to go over the bar here. It will be easier for them to read than the smaller. And honestly, this is the most difficult part, and honestly, I have more trouble doing this when the camera's running than I ever do when it's not. Then I just unlock that, and I let it spring closed. And look at that, it looks so professional. You get a really great look there. Oops, there we go, we're in frame. You've got a really great look there. Now, since I'm using a shorter side of the paper, I'm not using this whole comb. I am simply going to grab my scissors that I will locate. Here they are. Always so prepared. And I'm just going to snip that right off with a plain pair of scissors. And now if you take a look at the camera, at the calendar here, I have one side blank, which I will add pattern paper and photos to. And then I've got the bottom half with a nice large calendar grid, which will be nice for my parents and my in-laws to be able to write in and be able to see their month at a glance. The place I get these calendars is called pdfcalendar.com, and it is free, and you can just download the months, the years. You can do weekly planners or monthly views. It's free, and you can download them and save them and print them and whatever you want to do. So pdfcalendar.com is where I get my calendars. All right, we're back at my craft table, and here is a calendar that I'm going to give to my sister. And I used chipboard stickers to spell the word family. I used a little Queen & Company felt. Notice I'm using very light weight embellishments, because if I had something really heavy here, like some buttons, my calendar would hang kind of crooked. And I just decorated the cover so it would be cute. And then, because I don't want to put a hole in the album, I just took a pretty binder clip from the dollar store and I added some ribbon scraps. And then that is going to be what hangs the calendar. You'll just need to clip it. Like when I give it to her, I'll have it all clipped shut like that, and then she can unclip it and just hang it on the wall like this. Now, the thing I really like about this is that I printed digital paper on the, I'm just going to turn it sideways so you can see the paper in the calendar side. I printed digital paper on the back sides of the calendar pages. So after I printed out my year calendar from pdfcalendar.com, I am not affiliated, but it sounds like I'm doing a commercial, doesn't it? I put my paper back in, and I just printed on the reverse side, and this paper is by Cosmo Cricket. It's so pretty. It's the Early Bird collection. I love it. But I think this would be really cute with black and white photos. And when you've got young children, I'm sure a lot of you are moms, you know you don't always have time to scrapbook. So what I'm going to do is I put this pocket on the back just with double-sided tape, and I'm going to add things in there like some transparencies it can be written on, and also some little sticky squares, and probably a nice pen, and things like that that won't take up very much space, but will make it possible to actually be scrapbooking the year as you go. And if you want to upscale this gift, you could put in like a gift certificate to the place where the recipient gets their photos developed. Just that would be a really nice add-on gift. Or if they still shoot 35mm film, you could throw in a couple rolls of film, anything like that. But it makes it a really nice all-in-one gift. So all I did was I printed out my calendar with a pattern paper. If you don't want to print pattern paper because it uses a lot of ink, just adhere paper to it either before or after you bind it. It's very, very easy. I do have a tip on printing in color. If your printer takes it's like a popular printer, I have an HP PhotoSmart, I can find those O2 cartridges that my printer takes on Amazon, or there's other sites out there, but I go to Amazon.com, and I can get a set of 13 ink cartridges for $13. So it really makes printing affordable, and as you can see, the print quality doesn't suffer. I print all my photos, I print all my papers right on my home printer, and they still look great. I think so anyway. So it's a great way to save some money if you do like to do a lot of printing. Now I wanted to show you some close-ups of other ways to bind, and as I promised I would show you how we can use these using a crocodile. Now I have both crocodiles, but I have to say I like the smaller one better. It's cheaper, and actually I find that I use it 90% of the time. And all you have to do to be able to bind with a crocodile is you want to get a couple clips and hold your paper together. Then you want to take a binding comb, the one you plan to use, and lay it on the edge of your paper where you want to bind it. And then you simply are going to take a pencil. Let's pretend this is a pencil because, I got a marker right here. Look at this. I'm almost prepared today. And you're just going to make a mark wherever your little tines are. I wouldn't use a permanent marker to do this on the real project, but this will show up a lot better on camera. So you go all the way down like that, making your little marks. Then, with it clipped together with binder clips, which I'm not doing right now because I don't have them with me, you're going to take the, you'll notice on your crocodile you have a small hole and you have a large hole. You want to use the large hole. And you can go through probably about 6 sheets of cardstock at a time. And you just want to punch 2 holes. 1, 2, side by side, so it kind of looks like, let me get really close. Maybe if I hold that really close to the camera you can see. There you go. See, it looks kind of like a figure 8. You're going to do that all the way down. punch once, punch, whoops, I came on out of line, but you get the idea. And then when you're all done, this isn't as easy as using the binding system, but when you're all done, you can just open up these little fingers on the binding comb and slide them through. That's why you want to clip it, because they will want to come apart on you if you don't have them clipped together. So you just take a couple binder clips and clip them securely. You can also use ribbon and just one little hole punch, and that would be easy. The rings work well for mini books, but on a calendar, they're kind of too bulky. I have used rings before, but they don't work as well. But for a cute mini book like this, it gives you, the rings have the advantage of giving you a lot of space. If you can see that, let me just hold that. You can see how much space you have between the pages because you have the rings, so you can add lumpy things like buttons and embellishments and other stuff like that. I just love this Christmas mini album that I made a couple of years ago because my kids are so tiny and cute, and they had such a good time. And my cat, my deceased cat, he was obviously alive back then. Oh, I should just stop filming. Okay, so anyways, there we go, ring binding. And another comb binding. This is what the comb binding looks like that we did with the crocodile. Again, I'm going to bring it really close so hopefully you can see those little half, kind of like figure 8 shapes. But I mean, you really can't really tell if you're looking at it at a distance. Maybe you can see a little bit more when I open up the page. You can see that we've kind of got those little half moon shapes. It doesn't really detract from the project that much, and it's certainly, if you have a crocodile already, it's a free way to do some bookbinding. So there you go, different ways you can bind. You can use the Bind It All. I will show you an example of that. Let me just punch paper here. Whoops. The other thing about the nice office supply binder is that it suction cups itself to the table, where this has nice stoppers on it, but it doesn't suction cup it to the table. So the Bind It All, the binder that I just bought, the Comb Bind 75, C75, suction cups itself to the table when you're working so it doesn't go flying on you. But the Bind It All gives you very nice little holes, but you do have to use their wires because you can see that they're really just too small to fit the standardized comb bindings. And you know, when I am going to invest in a tool, now Zutter is a very good quality product and brand, and they're going to be around for a while. But you know, when I'm looking to buy a tool, I want to make sure that the consumables are not going to be very expensive and they're always going to be around. These comb bindings are always going to be around, so that's why I chose that. But it might not be the solution for your crafting needs. But I think they look just fine. They're not as, maybe not as stylish as some of the other ones out there, but I actually like the look of the comb binding in my cute little calendar album. So I want to thank you so much for watching. Good luck with your bookbinding. If you're looking to make a bookbinding purchase, try out some different binders if you can. If you have friends with a cinch or a Bind It All or an office supply type binding machine, ask them to borrow it, because that's how you're going to make an informed decision. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting!